Okay, so I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. If The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 gets delayed, I'd honestly be fine with that, because we have like a bajillion Nintendo Switch games already. Kirby and the Forbidden Forest, Xenoblade 3, Splatoon 3, Bayonetta 3, this is a lot of threes, and the best of them all as a 90s kid, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I can't wait for that game. Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to the RoboChancho, where we take the gaming news format that channels like Spawnwood or Arlo do, add a dash of animation and some cool editing on top to bring you your gaming news, leaks, and rumors in a fresh new way. If you're new here and want to be kept up on everything gaming, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you enjoy the video and dislike if not. In this video, we are going to talk about the possibility of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 being delayed or any other games being delayed. Now keep in mind that this is the possibility of them being delayed. So it means if they're going to be delayed or not just if they're going to be delayed. There's a little ray of sunshine for you guys right there. Now these games are games that are only confirmed for 2022, so games like Metroid Prime 4 or any other Nintendo Switch games that are guessed to be 2022 are out the window. We're only focusing on 2022 today, guys. Now if you are wondering, wait, didn't you just make a video on Breath of the Wild 2 being a holiday season 2022 game? Well, yes I did, but there is one game that completely changes things for Nintendo's schedule, as well as some new hardware that could be coming. When it comes to Nintendo, things can always change drastically. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. Any interactions on the video, be it comments, likes, or even dislikes if you hate this video, help it reach more people. And if you want to follow me on Twitter and see some updates on the Storytime animation video for the 1993 Mario movie, my Twitter handle is RoboRob93. So Nintendo, you are killing it with the Nintendo Switch. I mean, passing the Wii U sales by itself is a big accomplishment. One that no one really thought you would really do, especially after the Wii U, which only sold about 15 million units. I mean, I thought the Nintendo Switch was gonna be a success, but this much? I didn't think that. You have been on a 5-year streak with releasing huge games constantly and giving every gamer something to play, whether it be JRPG, action, shooter, or just the general audience with Animal Crossing New Horizons. And now we are in 2022 and you're saying you're only halfway through the Switch's lifetime. I mean, that's kinda crazy, good job. But there is something that worries a lot of us, the big old delays. So check this out, in 2022, so far we have the Kirby and the Forbidden Forest coming out on the 28th in March, right? Advance Wars on April 8th, Mario Strikers on May 6th, we also have Nintendo Switch Sports on April 29th, we also have Live Alive on July 7th. So right there for the next 4 months, we have a pretty healthy amount of Nintendo Switch games for us to play. Add in other third-party games and indie games, and there is a pretty good flow of Nintendo Switch games for the console. I don't think any more games will be announced from now, which is March for those watching in the future, until July, and here's why. E3 is in June. It's already the 7th, guys, which means E3 is in almost about 3 months. Usually we do have the E3 Nintendo Direct on the 15th of June. Now, there are games that we don't have release dates for. Bayonetta 3, Breath of the Wild 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Splatoon 3, Mario Rabbids, Xenoblades, as well as Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. We know they're 2022 games, we just don't know the exact date or even a release window. All of these games are 2022 games and big games at that. Well, kinda. Shredder's Revenge isn't a super big Nintendo Switch game, but it has a special place in my heart, so it gets to be up there with the big boys. Now, when you consider these games, you could place one of these games in each month and already have a pretty solid lineup until 2023. As to what order they could be in is really anyone's guess, but I think there are some that you could say that are after the E3 Nintendo Direct. Games like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 would fit nicely between September and December. The closer to the holiday the better, so they can have more sales for that games. Pokemon will also be a huge release for the Nintendo Switch, so I don't think it will be in the same month as Breath of the Wild. That would be crazy. I'm guessing it will probably fall just before the colder weather starts hitting. Maybe just in time for Turkey Day in October. Wait, no, that's November. November. Thanksgiving is in November. 3 would work well in August or September if we do get a demo or a splat test, I think it's called. This would most likely happen during E3, and then we'll have a nice lead up to that release. Have the players test the game out, report any balance issues in multiplayer or any bugs in the campaign, and all of that kind of stuff to make sure the release for Splatoon 3 is nice and ironed out. Then you have Bayonetta 3, which has been in development forever, it feels like, and will release probably maybe a month or two after E3 in July. Now, having Bayonetta 3 in that month isn't the biggest game, so releasing it with Nintendo Switch Sports would make for a good pair, or even Mario Rabbids in the same month as well. Now, we know of games up until July, which is a month after E3 2022. This being 1 month after E3 2022, which holds the E3 Nintendo Direct, is very important because at E3, more info for Nintendo Switch's lineup as well as gameplay for games that we don't have any on will probably happen. So Bayonetta 3, which will most likely get a deep dive into the mechanics of the game, Splatoon 3 will probably have a demo or splat test, Xenoblade 3 will probably receive some kind of trailer as well, I'm sure. Because if that's a 2022 game, you would think some kind of trailer for the gameplay would happen, even if it's just a small trailer with gameplay snippets. Now, all of these games are a very tight squeeze in between releases from now up until 2023. I think the question you really have to ask is this too much? Are they releasing too much at once? Or is this just a really great lineup for the Nintendo Switch? And I think to add to that, why would they want such a healthy lineup for the Nintendo Switch? Is there a reason behind it? Well, I think it is. Consider this. Nintendo says that this is only half of the Nintendo Switch's lifetime. This means more than likely they plan to keep the Switch around at least as long as the DS line, and the 3DS as well. With Nintendo treating Switch revisions the same way they did with the 3DS, it makes a lot of sense, especially since they don't have the 3DS to fall back on just in case this console fails. They have to be really careful. The best situation is to have a new console that's more powerful but still plays the previous games, and they're still releasing games on the previous versions of the console, just like the 3DS. So it makes a lot of sense that we saw those NVIDIA leaks not too long ago, I think it was a couple days ago, of upscaling games for the Nintendo Switch using DLSS. Video on that in the top right corner if you want to learn about that. More than likely, the Nintendo Switch will receive some kind of Switch Pro or Switch U or Super Switch or whatever the next Nintendo Switch is going to be called, the same way that we had the new 3DS, a stronger platform for games that are more hefty in their graphics or performance or whatever they need to run better. And I'm sure Switch Pro patches will actually happen on the next Nintendo Switch. So having this mega strong lineup until that Nintendo Switch console is a very good idea. When you consider all of this, I don't think delays will happen. I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be a holiday season game. I think Nintendo wants a strong lineup up until E3, and we are going to see all of these games, Pokemon, Breath of the Wild 2, Xenoblade 3, Mario Strikers, and so on for the rest of 2022. At E3, we will get more teases for 2023, probably some smaller games released in 2022 as well. And I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be that huge launch title for the new revision for the Nintendo Switch that's going to utilize the new power. But I think it's still going to run on the Nintendo Switch that we already have right now, whether that be the Nintendo Switch Lite, the OLED, or the OG Nintendo Switch. Or, you know, I could be completely wrong. This is just a prediction. It could be all garbage. But that's just really what I think about the recent conversations that have popped up about the delay after Pokemon was revealed to be a 2022 game. Whether or not that would be ready for 2022 when it releases and it doesn't look like absolute trash is another story, one which I'll most likely talk about eventually. Now, my next video is going to be me talking about Nintendo and what they're going to be doing with Zelda if Breath of the Wild 2 is delayed, because that still is a possibility. Even if there is enough room for it to be released in 2022, a delay is still possible. So if it is, some kind of Zelda game is probably going to release this year, and I'll be talking about what that Zelda game could be. Click the top right corner if you want to watch that when that is done. It is the end of the video right now, so if you want more content from me, it's right there for you. And if not, on your way out, make sure you subscribe for more videos and also have that notification bell on. And if you want to support the channel in any other way, there is my Patreon and Twitter account in the pinned comment if you're interested in those. Oh, and also have this donut if you're still sticking around for me rambling. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.